Part 3, verify the identity. Cotangent of x, cosine of x over cotangent of x plus cosine of x is equal to cotangent of x minus cosine of x all over cotangent of x, cosine of x. Looking at the right and left side. Left side, since it's added in the denominator and not multiplied in the denominator, I'm going to work with the left side because I think that would be easier to work with. So I'm going to put everything in terms of sines and cosines. So I hope you know that cotangent is cosine over sine, and cosine is just cosine. Cotangent is cosine over sine plus cosine. Okay? I'm going to get rid of the fraction by multiplying the top by sine and the bottom by sine. So I'm taking this and I'm multiplying this term and I'm multiplying these two terms. This is just one term here, cosine squared sine. And when I do that, I will get cosine squared of x on the top, and on the bottom, I'll get cosine of x plus cosine sine of x. Okay? So let me see what else I can do. Maybe I can do a substitution. So let me substitute. And always look at where you're going. I have something subtracted on the top. I have something multiplied on the bottom. So substitute. Instead of cosine squared, I know cosine squared is 1 minus sine squared. I factored out a cosine from the bottom. And now I'm going to make it larger so you can see where we want to go. Look where we're going. We have a cosine times a cotangent in the bottom. We have a cotangent minus a cosine in the top. That is where we're going. So at least we have something multiplied in the numerator. We have something in the denominator that's added. So let's see what else we can do. Well, this is 1 plus sine. Let's factor this, because I don't have any squareds up there. So let's get rid of that squared by, if I factor it, I don't have a squared. And then keep the bottom. And then those cancel out. Okay? Now, if I were doing this, I would stop and keep looking at where I'm going. My denominator needs to be a cotangent cosine. So I am looking at where I'm going. So I am going to say, okay, I need a cotangent down here. So I'm going to put a cotangent down there. I can't just put it there. But I could put it top and bottom, because I'm multiplying by 1. And let's see what that does. So when you distribute to each term, you'll end up with cotangent minus sine cotangent over cosine cotangent. Okay? I'm almost there. I have cotangent of x minus sine of x. Cotangent, remember, is cosine over sine over cosine of x, cotangent of x. Sines cancel out, and you end up with cotangent of x minus cosine of x over cosine cotangent. Done. Not the only way to do it, but it works. Okay? You could have also, if you got stuck, you could have said, okay, I'm stuck here. Now let's work on the right side and simplify the right side, and maybe you could get the right side to look like this point that you might have been stuck at. That would work too. 18. Verify the identity. 1 plus cotangent squared times 1 plus tangent squared is equal to 1 over sine squared cosine squared. If I were doing this, I would work with the left side, looks a little more complicated, and substitute. 1 plus cotangent squared. 1 plus cotangent squared is cosecant squared. 1 plus tangent squared is secant squared. Cosecant is the reciprocal of sine, so this is 1 over sine squared. Secant is reciprocal of cosine, so this is 1 over cosine squared. Done. Last example. The last example, verify the identity cotangent of x over 1 plus cosecant of x plus 1 plus cosecant of x over cotangent of x is equal to 2 secant of x. I would work with the left side. And just because I'm doing it this one way, it's not the only way to do it, just so you know that. I would work with the left side and find a common denominator. So if I multiply this by cotangent over cotangent, and this by 1 plus cosecant over 1 plus cosecant, I will have a common denominator. So this will be cotangent squared. This will be 1 plus 2 cosecant plus cosecant squared. And the bottom will be cotangent times 1 plus cosecant. Okay? So there's what I did first. And like I said, this isn't the only way to do it. It's just one way to do it. Okay? So, after this, we can rearrange it. And when you're rearranging it, look at what you have there. I have a cotangent plus 1, right? So maybe I want to group those together. So that's probably where I'd start. And if it's not right, try again. But the only reason I did that is because I looked up there, and I know 1 plus cotangent squared is cosecant. Okay? So this right here is cosecant. The rest stays the same. And now look at all those cosecants I have. So I have a cosecant squared and another cosecant squared, so I have 2 of those now. So I have 2 cosecants and 2 cosecant squareds. Okay? And then if I were doing this, I would probably factor it and factor out a 2 cosecant. If I factor out a 2 cosecant here, I'm left with 1. If I factor out a 2 cosecant here, I'm left with cosecant. So that's what I would do. These cancel. And look where we're going. We're almost there, I think. 2 cosecant over cotangent. You can put everything in terms of sines and cosines if you want. That would probably get you there. So I have 2 times. Cosecant is reciprocal sine, so 1 over sine. Cosine, or cotangent is cosine over sine. These sines cancel out. Multiply top and bottom by sine, they cancel out. So I have 2 over cosine. And the reciprocal of cosine is secant. And if you have trouble seeing that, write it in 2 steps. From there you could go 2 times 1 over cosine of x. That's secant, 2 secant. Done.